All right, so after some technical difficulties, we're gonna restart topic 3. Yeah, so we're restarting topic 3. So sorry for the jump cut, but yeah, we were talking about Nate's topic, which he can reintroduce.
Yep. So, Andrew and I were talking in our group chat about the state of the industry and the future of the industry, and this is something I thought about a lot, so I wanted to bring it up. So Andrew was talking about how there's an insane number of groups debuting, and it was 44 in 2011.
Yeah, it was like 44 in 2011, and then 9 soloists, and then it's something like 88 groups in
and like
2017.
40 something.
46 soloists. So
yeah, so
it's over well
it's
over
just
100
an insane jump. And so yeah, and Andrew was saying that he thinks this is like unsustainable, and so my argument is I don't think it is, because I was thinking the same thing in 2013, 2014 when there were 200 groups debuting in a year, and I started in 2010, 2011 when I was able to follow pretty much every group, or I knew every group. But yeah, I was like, this is insane. Like, there's so many groups coming out. How does anyone follow this? But the reason I think it's fine is, well, first of all, like I said, I was thinking this in 2014, and it's still happening. It's 2017, and the K-pop industry just keeps growing. I don't think it's actually a problem, because nobody cares about 90% of these groups. They're from companies no one's ever heard of. They don't have money. They don't get the screen time they need, so no one ever hears their music. If someone finds them on YouTube, cool. Like, there are girl groups we find, like, for our weekly or our monthly release channel, or like episodes that have less views than we do. So like that's like, that just proves like it's fine, because how the industry works now is you have the big 3 and like the B tier companies like Pledis and Cube and those types of companies. They can take a loss because they have enough money. Like they're known companies. They have had popular groups in the past. They're gonna keep making groups, and if one of them fails, it's okay, because they have backups. They have multiple groups that are promoting. Or they have one of the biggest groups like Big Hit. They don't have anyone else, but they don't need anyone else. They're just BTS's company. And the rest of the industry is companies no one's ever heard of, hoping to be the next big hit, hoping to get G-Friend or
literally
BTS.
Trying to be the next big hit.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Literally,
like,
and also the company.
Like, that's all that succeeds in this industry is the big companies that are established that everyone knows, or the companies that get an insane viral, like, they either do something different and it picks up insanely, like BTS, or they get a viral video like EXID or G-Friend that like just takes them out of nowhere, and that's all the little companies are doing. They're just trying to be that. Like, they know the risks when they go into it. They're making a small group with no funding, and they know that because they're like, either we spent almost no money to debut this group and they failed, and so we'll just fold the company and take a loss. It's not that big of a deal. Or we'll get insanely lucky and become insanely big and make tons of money.
Well, I think that's the thing for me too, is I think like the more saturated the market is, the market might be getting way more saturated, but the like the Winners Club, I guess, stays about the same size.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it really doesn't need to scale with it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, Andrew, if you want to make your counter argument.
The thing that throws a wrench in all of this is a lot of, again, I know K-pop still very much primarily for Koreans, but again, the international market, I feel like, is starting, to be completely honest, I'm pretty sure, like, with how many like different countries listen to K-pop, they probably make more money off of international like sales and releases, like, just because of numbers, than even in Korea, just because Korea only has so many people. and like the internet again. There's just so many international fans. Obviously, like easily, like I believe international fans can easily like outnumber like the domestic fans. So
I don't agree with that actually. Like, there are a lot of countries, there are people listening to K-pop in a lot of countries, but the amount of people, like, sure, America has a lot of people that listen to K-pop, and it's, like, I wouldn't agree. Maybe if you take the entire world, you could match, like,
yeah, no, that's what I'm
Korean
saying,
fans,
like, the international, not just the U.S., But no,
that's still not their focus. Is the thing.
Yeah, no.
I think they should start to focus more though, because I think DSP is seeing this and they're making bank on card. You know,
what I think might be a problem is that pretty much K-pop. There could be a point where K-pop ends up like J-pop is now, where
it's like old news.
Like we're like back in like. How K-pop is, well, not to the same degree, but how K-pop is mostly for the most part now is how J-pop was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, where like literally like all these huge like random.
I'd say even farther actually.
Yeah, like almost like a decade ago.
Yeah, J-pop was popular from early 2000s to around like 2010. Yeah, 2012, and then K-pop took over.
Yeah, because like I never like up until like 2010, I never heard of like maybe because I didn't know at all, but I never heard of Korean pop groups coming to America. But I always heard about like all these Japanese like groups coming here, coming to the West or coming touring internationally with like
like K-pop wasn't big enough to come
again,
to US
that's what I think might happen, or like again that's what I think might be afraid of, where. Yeah. There might be a point where K-pop progresses to the point where it's only a popular thing in Korea, or it reverts to an incredible niche, like where like again like K-pop versus J-pop in terms of like popularity and numbers. It's not even a competition at this point.
I think you also have to take into consideration though that like the times back then when J-pop was at its height, Japan was probably the top dog in Asia, like besides China, as far as like Japan.
Korea's definitely overtaken Japan
way up here, but Korea is growing right now.
Yeah, in terms of like Asian market share, Korea definitely is like #1 right now in terms of like in every major market, like smartphones, cars,
TVs,
like any form of electronic comes out of like a lot of it comes out of Korea. So I guess that's what might throw a wrinkle in this, where if you get so much of the same and the same and the same and the same, if a G friend from the now until the day I die just keeps doing the same songs,
I'd be happy.
No,
but I mean, so
I don't think that like SMYG, like JYP are all gonna fold or whatever. It's just that I think basically we might lose the.
You
K-pop
think it'll
market.
Be stagnant?
No, I think
it'll grow stagnant.
I think it might I don't not necessarily in terms of like they keep doing the same thing. It's just that they might
lose the
I don't know
the bubble. You think we're in a bubble and it's gonna pop and it's gonna go back to just being Korea and like the weeboos of the world.
Yeah,
Korea
basically. That's what I'm afraid. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Is that basically like. There might be a point where everyone grows up and they're like, I'm not into K-pop anymore. Like, I mean, that's
yeah.
That's
I thought that would happen.
You're like,
that's not
I did too.
That Reddit. You haven't grown up yet. Shut up.
No. I thought honestly, because No. I got into it when I was in middle school, though.
Yeah, he was in middle school. So he actually grew up through
K-pop. Yeah, he grew up with K-pop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
obviously I was an adult when I started listening to K-pop. And
I started the same thing with me in anime. Like, I got into anime when I was in middle school through, like, Naruto and whatever. And it was out of my life until 2013 or whatever. Like, almost a good, like, decade or so.
But then there was that top Reddit comment that said, "I'm in this shit till I die," and I am 100% agree.
And I mean, like again, like there, I do think might be K-pop saving grace is that they
gotta have another BTS every few years or Psy or whatever the next thing is,
and they're always like they're. I think what might save K-pop in general is that they're not necessarily just copying Japan now. It's that they're copying America. So assuming like
Well, they're not even copying America. They're taking American sounds and
like making
them their own.
Yeah.
So like they're taking familiar work.
That's Korean. That's sort of in Korea's
putting their own
blood,
spin
though.
on it.
Yeah.
They've always done it, like thousands of years, actually.
Yeah, like,
you know what
maybe
I mean?
this could be a deeper topic in
China, Japan, inside. Like they take people's ideas and they figure out how to do them better, I guess. Like that's why
their
they're
own
getting
twist on them. Again, that might be.
I'm talking in terms of production, like cars and TVs and computers and even gaming, like playing games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that might be that's a separate topic I'm gonna have basically on just like the whole Korean fashion culture, because in Korean fashion they literally just copy like what they're wearing in America, and it's not stuff.
I forgot to show you that video from last week.
Yeah,
I'll find
and
that.
it's not since you can't get like Supreme or whatever in Korea. That's why it's like there's a huge fakes market. So anyway.
Oh, you might have already watched that video then.
Yeah, from High Snobby. Yeah, I watched it. I read that website for work, so of course I'm gonna see it. But yeah, I guess that's like my whole point is that losing losing the international fan base might be a huge hit to especially for like if you think about like groups like Card, or even BTS. Remember, if it wasn't for international fans like beating the drum for BTS so loud, like they wouldn't be like the #1 K-pop group in like the world. So
yeah, I see. For me though, like sure, BTS wouldn't be here, Card wouldn't be here, but there'd still be K-pop. Like there are groups that will succeed regardless of international fans. Like Korean fans will find them and like them. Like EXO would have succeeded fine twice. Would have succeeded perfectly fine without any international fans. And it's like sure, we might lose some groups, or like groups might not exist, but it's not gonna end like you're saying. So yeah, it might just recede to just being Korean fans again, or they're super hardcore fans. And yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Actually, probability if you think about it, because stuff's constantly changing. Like culture is constantly changing. Like, something new is gonna pop up.
It'll be interesting.
Some random country is gonna come out with the next
imagine
popular
if
music.
Thailand is like the next big thing, like Thai pop or whatever.
Like that.
God forbid Filipino pop music.
that's gonna happen. It's just how the world works with the internet nowadays. Like everything's a fad, and. So yeah, that's gonna happen. That's 100% gonna happen. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm just saying that I think K-pop will be fine.
I mean, and if you look at like what I'm basically basing this off of, like the .com bubble, like everyone is literally making like internet businesses, and like they're spending way too much money that they couldn't afford to all this e-commerce stuff, and then boom, but still like Yahoo made it through, Amazon made it through.
Well, Yahoo barely made it through.
Not barely, they're barely alive. But like back in the day when Yahoo was still pretty big. I mean, they're pretty relevant now.
They're still
like pretty much like every
JYP, YG, and SM will survive regardless of what happens in the industry.
That might JYP,
and that's fine.
YG, SM, Cube. God, never mind, not Cube.
No, Cube's already on its last leg.
Pledis is getting up there, but with 17 pristine.
FNC.
FNC. So yeah, like going back, like you comparing it to J-pop, like my problem with that is that you said like K-pop could get to where J-pop is now, where it's just a lot more niche, and that's what you're thinking is gonna happen. I think won't be as fast because K-pop is so much more varied. Like K-pop isn't just like J-pop is a genre. Like it is a thing. Like if that makes sense. Where
I'd say it's pretty varied. It's like not everything is just when it comes to like major like AKB48 or that sort of thing, idol groups, a lot of it does sound the same, but then you have like your Perfumes, you have Keripamu, you have Capsule, you have like there's a lot more like niche stuff. You have Utada Hikaru, that sort of thing.
It's closer to being a actual genre than K-pop.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's all exactly the same, but like in terms of like you said, like the most popular stuff is pretty similar, like AKB48 and the other. I don't really know any other insanely huge groups in J-pop that it would be similar. But like, if you look at K-pop, like the biggest groups aren't. There's a variance there. Like SNSD doesn't do the same music as Twice, and like never did. Like if you listen to any of SNSD songs, they don't really sound like anything Twice would do, or the other way around. And like BTS is completely different. Like, so like all the most insane groups, there's variance there. So the ones that would survive
are the ones that are different.
The thing is that even with variance, that doesn't necessarily perfectly.
I'm not saying it'll perfectly say.
Or another example I can draw.
I'm just saying, comparing it to J-pop, there's a difference there that I think is significant.
Another thing I can compare this to is there was an there's an anime bubble that popped in the early 2000s in terms of America, because like
like Toonami.
Yeah, like they
died. Pretty much.
Yeah, basically, because what happened is all these like businesses started opening up and being like, okay, we're going to license all these Japanese shows, dub them into English and that sort of thing, and bring them over to the States. The problem is it got
shitty jobs.
Yeah, it got not just that. It got to the point where like the dubs are poor, and it got to the point that they kept like bringing over like the crap because everyone like all like the big companies got like their hold of like all the big properties.
Like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, so basically like everyone was left with
already
it was slim pickings. So yeah, like there's like a huge like gap in like early 2000 to like maybe 2005-ish where there's like anime was completely dead in North America because like the bubble popped and all these like major like production studios or studios that would translate and sub all these things that brought it to America, they just straight up closed down because they couldn't afford it anymore.
I don't really think that's a good comparison either, because those are companies. Oh, God.
I guess what I'm saying with it is that like we're getting remember that one group that we never even heard of, but they're randomly like we're starting a U.S. tour. I'm just like, I literally never heard of you guys. It was like some like all guy group. So that's what I'm afraid. Like they might start to do that, or like trying to expose like groups that might not be good, or that nobody in Korea even hears of to the U.S.
Yeah.
Everyone, like we said, everyone's probably gonna try to jump on the card /
100%.
Well, this won't be the first time though, because K-pop has already been burned by the United States once. That's why they've been so wary about it for so many years, even after Psy made it big with Gangnam Style. So I think it's only gonna continue to grow at least for like at least another 5 years.
Yeah. And I don't think
it's also a random
small companies. I don't think small companies spending money to send like random unknown groups to the U.S. is gonna hurt the industry.
That's just
gonna hurt that company. Decisions. Yeah, like I said, there's so many small companies.
I think if everyone does try to chase to be the next Card or the next Luna in this case, because they're pretty much shaping up to be like that as well. It's just
they gotta play it by ear and not get their britches up too high, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. A lot of these smaller companies are almost banking on finding because international fans are way more dedicated than even people in Korea, because there's a lot of people in Korea that have no idea who the hell like Marshmello is, or like all these like really like tiny groups, because they're like, again, to them it's like most people in Korea it's just music, it's just like what they hear every day, so most people's knowledge are just surface level, so be a big three. So
but
I think the American market
it's the same thing. It's even worse. Yeah, it's you're thinking of it in our fandom perspective, where like even within K-pop fandom, international K-pop fandom, I would bet you 75% of people don't know who Marshmello is. Like, nobody knows who Marshmello is. We just do because we listen to every song every month.
International fans know more about K-pop.
I know, but we know insane amounts more than any other people. Like most, 99% of other K-pop
even like
fans.
the mid-tier groups that like literally I've never never heard of have.
Think of it this way. In Korean Club last year, I played day 6, and the Korean students that were there didn't even know who they were.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
but you're comparing a normal Korean person to an international K-pop fan. You need to compare Korean fans to international fans. You can't that's like saying, "Oh, my mom doesn't know who random American rapper is." Like, no, she doesn't. She doesn't care. Like,
the thing is, though, again, most I feel
Jacob's
like,
carrying
I feel like most
like
K-pop fans
listen to.
I feel
K-pop.
like most K-pop fans in Korea
Listen to American pop.
I feel like most K-pop fans in Korea really are still that surface level, that not much outside the big three.
No, they aren't. I can guarantee you they aren't.
Watch Dreamcatcher video. They have freaking
exactly.
chants.
Like
again,
the list, just listen to random B tier or C tier groups and listen to those fan chants. There are insane fans for every group.
That's why I think. Go ahead.
I think you're underestimating the Korean fan, like just Korean K-pop industry, like fan industry is, I guess, is the way to describe it. Like, I think because you're an international fan, you think the international fandom is insanely bigger or more dedicated than the Korean fandom, which I can guarantee you is not.
Well, there were people
yeah, exactly. Like, they get more, like, when I went to, like, 2012 Incheon K-pop concert, there were people screaming for brand new groups that, like, I don't know, and, like, there were, new groups there that, like, had insane fans. Like, people over there find new groups, like, way easier than we do. I mean, they get to see them on TV. Those groups still get to go on music shows. And so, like, they're on TV, national TV, like 7 times a month or 7 times a week. Like, even if no one pays attention, they still have a lot more exposure. I still think
exposure. The thing is, though, again, if you're the difference between the comparison is, though, there's no since Korea, it's just music there. I feel like if you're taking, like, you can't just cut out, like, the surface level, like, normies or whatever, and then just only count it to K-pop fans. But the thing is, though, again, I feel like a lot of a good portion of the industry, or the people that listen to K-pop in Korea, are that surface level still. And again,
no. Like, all of the college students I met don't... In Korea, K-pop is for teens, just like Katy Perry is here. Like... All the college students I talked to would never get caught dead listening to any, like, anything. Pretty much. I guess they know who Girls' Generation is, but, like, sure, they might know their songs.
That's what my point is.
But they're not going to listen to them religiously.
Like, the point where I'm going with that is that I still think you have to take that into account when you're like trying to factor in, like, the Korean market, because again, that's still the market, so to speak. Whereas, like, again, international fans, it's just. There's no such thing as a casual international. There's no such thing as since it's not just like music that you hear every day in, I don't know, like here in America or whatever. There's not surface. There's not that surface level. So that's what I'm trying to say.
I'm not. Yeah, I agree with you there that international fans are a lot more dedicated if you take into account a normal Korean citizen. But, like, that's just like a weird. Like, I don't know, that just doesn't seem like a good comparison to me.
No, because, well, I guess, again, drawing it back to anime is where a lot of people in America are way more dedicated to anime than they are even in Japan, where if you ask, like, again, like, anime is, like, very similar. It's just it's, like, usually, like, kids or teens, or if you're like me, you're a big-ass otaku. Like, otaku in Japan are just like the minority of people who watch anime. Like, most of people, like, well,
otaku is an insult in Korea and Japan, you know.
If you're an
otaku, look at that nerd.
It's not a good thing. So, like, most people, that's why if you just ask, like, a regular kid, it's just gonna be one of the big three. Again, there's the really good comparisons between anime and K-pop. It's gonna be, oh, I watch One Piece, oh, I watch Naruto, oh, I watch Bleach. Well, maybe not now because most of the shows are gone.
Dragon Ball Z, probably.
Yeah, it's like most people that watch it in Japan are pretty surface level. They're not going to stay up because it's on late at night, so they're not going to stay up till like 11, 12 in the morning to watch some random show or whatever. So again, that's where I'm saying is that that's the point I'm trying to make, where again, where the as a whole, like, the market that, or the people that sort of consume K-pop Korean music as a whole, like there's still going to be that giant portion that are very, again, surface level normie, if you really want to call it that.
Well, no, yeah. I think I'm gonna like just say my closing thoughts, I guess, because I don't think there's any more that I can say. Is like, one, I think it's always going to be a cult following, whether it grows really big.
Yeah,
or
I don't
not.
think so. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think Korean music is going to over. Imagine if Korean music was the most pop. Maybe if North Korean made it.
I wouldn't say mainstream, but like, you know, rock music is a accepted genre like everywhere. You know,
K-pop is starting to become one. Yeah, like there are like you can go to like radio stations that play K-pop or like it's not like common, but yeah.
Anyways, and then the second thing is I don't think there's really a way to predict it, because this day and age has proved me anything, is that the market is so unpredictable. And like, I mean, for crying out loud, Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
What the fuck is going on?
Anything can happen, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it kept growing and
it's not like I wanted to.
Huge.
It's not like I wanted to get destroyed or whatever, because we'd be out of a job, quote unquote, or we'd be out of a YouTube channel if we didn't have hundreds of songs to look through. So, yeah, I just think it's something to be wary of, because again, with prior instances of like niche. Like, I guess, yeah, you can call this a hobby, basically. It's a lifestyle, even. Like, K-pop is like niche, like lifestyle. Niche lifestyle trends where that sort of like fade or like go in and out of prominence. I think I think there is still a chance for that to happen. But I mean, hey, I won't mind it. I mean, it'll just be easier to get concert tickets. If there are still concerts.
I was gonna say, if there are still concerts.
There'd be less concerts if it got smaller.
Yeah. You'd have to go to Korea, and it'd
basically,
be a lot more expensive.
we just for like, if that happens, like if the market gets reset, we just need another Gangnam Style, basically. We just need another Gangnam Style to save us. So.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts, Nate?
Yeah, I definitely like I said, I had these thoughts 3 years ago. I understand this like point of thinking. I thought the exact same thing. I was like, there's no way this is going to keep going for another 5 years, and here we are 4 years later with it growing even more.
For me, I got in on the G wave, which brought it up a little bit, and then I was there for Gangnam Style, which brought it up even more. And now there's the BTS wave, and then there's going to be something else probably.
Card wave. It's going to be the card wave.
Hopefully.
I thought you said Kara wave. I was like, oh.
Kara wave, yeah.
Kara ain't really dead, remember?
It's a bit too late.
Kara just had a comeback.
That's true.
Anyways.
But yeah, so like, it's not like, I don't think the industry is going to grow exponentially forever. Obviously, it's going to slow down or like stagnate. Like, but
Stay somewhere.
I think it'll stay at a point where there's always a lot of things to listen to. There's always new stuff coming out. Like, I don't think it's ever going to drop back to 2010 where I was waiting months to get a new album for any group I like, to where now I buy albums literally every week.
Day.
I've gotten albums for like almost every week for the past like 3 months in the mail.
Yeah.
So like, it's complete. I don't think that's gonna be a thing forever either. But I don't think
this is definitely a golden age, if anything. Though.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, basically, if you're listening to K-pop right now, like, savor this, because it's not going. It may never be like this all the time. You're never gonna like. Again, how many?
We might have another 2014.
Like, how many? How many K-pop groups have I seen in 1 year already? 1 year where I in 2011 I only saw 21 and
2011.
Well, this year you saw more groups than you've ever seen ever, right?
Yeah, this is more concerts than I've seen in my entire life.
Granted, how many of those would you have gone to if we didn't start a podcast at the beginning of the year?
That's true. I mean, like again,
probably half of those you wouldn't have gone to. You wouldn't have seen Monsta X.
Yeah, but again, just, like the sheer amount of like K-pop that's coming over here to the States.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's ridiculous, and again, it might not last. So
it definitely won't last.
Take advantage of like this surge of music while you can, because again, there might be dark ages in the future.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, there's definitely gonna be ups and downs. That's guaranteed. Like, there's gonna be another 2014 where it's just a slow year, and
that's what I got. That's what I fell out of it.
That'll happen, but then there'll be more
partially
20.
Partially because I was in a relationship at that time, so.
There'll be more 2017s too, where there's just insane amounts of great stuff.
Yeah, we'll
and
see.
2016 and 2015.
Yeah, we'll see if 2018 is gonna be as insane. But anyway.
YMB probably doesn't have enough money to promote two groups, and right after K&K came out, like, is the beginning of mid 2016. So like,
yeah, that would have been
March 2016. So yeah, it would have been around when they should be preparing Betsy. So they prepared a boy group, and the boy group's really popular. So they're just like, okay, we're done with Betsy.